Okay. I got the third bet. Wait, so if we can show me.
All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to review linear equations and inequalities. This lesson went pretty quick first hour, and they had a lot of time to work on stuff, so that's good. It's not as long as the other two. What is an equation?
Something with an equal sign.
Yep. Basically, you can tell if it has an equal sign. It is that straightforward. These are the properties of equality. The first one makes sense, right? U equals U. I know. It's awesome. It's awesome. Symmetric, it means it doesn't matter which side you write it on. U equals V, so V equals U. You can change it up. Transitive basically says if U equals V and V is W, then you can actually just skip the V part and just say that the U and the W are equal. And the additive and addition and multiplication properties, you can read it. You're good. The solution of an equation in X is the value for X that makes the equation true. I think we know this. And here's how you confirm a solution. We want to show that -2 works in this equation for X. So what are we going to do? Plug it in. So we have -2 cubed minus a -2 plus 6. And I want to know, does that truly equal 0?
Yes.
Well, I don't know. What's -2 cubed?
-8.
Good. I'm glad you said the negative. Negative, negative?
0.
A negative, a negative?
Well,
Oh, it makes a plus. I need you to answer the question I'm asking. And I went over this with you the first year I had you. Hasn't changed. Well, what? Nothing.
I should be able to say it.
No.
So slow.
Because some people are writing stuff down. And we need to be courteous of other people. It's not all about you. Does that really equal 0?
Yes.
Yeah. So then I put a little check above it. Yeah, it works. Yay. This whole section is all about linear equations and inequalities. In order for something to be linear, you have to have an x term. And I mean just an x. You can't have an x squared. You can't have a square root of x. That makes it not linear. So if it is a linear equation, you have to have an x to the first power in there. Otherwise, it's not linear. Because if a was 0, you wouldn't have an x term. And then we're not talking about lines. So, how can you tell if two equations are equivalent? Yep. If they have the same solution. Don't worry about reading this. We just answered that question. Okay. Doing okay so far? Basically what they're asking us to do here is they're going through kind of the order of operations of solving an equation. So for the first one here, they want us to combine like terms and reduce the fraction. So if we combine like terms right here, what's 2x plus x? And that equals, we're going to reduce that to 1/3. They don't even want us to solve it. They just want us to practice our little parts of our operations. That's all they want us to practice right here. Awesome. So for this one, they want us to perform the same operations on both sides. So what would be an operation you do to both sides here? So you'd have x equals 4 as a equivalent equation. So this one, they want us to move the 2x. So the equivalent equation would be 3x equals 4. And they don't want us to even solve it. This one, we are going to solve it. What are we going to do here? Divide by 3, so x equals 4. So just a little reminder and review. Now we're going to do the fun stuff. supposed to be example 2, not 12.
That was pretty fun.
All right, so example 2, what do we do first?
Distribute.
Yep. And you distribute with both parentheses, right? So the first one is going to be, what's 2x times, or 2 times 2x? 4x minus 2 times 3? Yep. Plus 3 times x? Plus 3 times 1. And that equals 5x plus 2. Then what are we going to do? Nice. So on the left-hand side, we have 7x minus 3. Now it's your choice which one you move. I like to move, if I have x's on both sides, I move one of the x's first. Do you want to move the 7x or the 5x? I love it. You guys okay? I'm not writing minus 5x, minus 5x.
Yeah,
Okay. So 2x minus 3 equals 2. Then what? So 2x equals 5. And you can leave it as 5 halves. It's fine. Nice. I like it. I like it. So there are going to be questions with, we're going to have to deal with fractions. We have to learn to embrace and love the fraction. I do too. Good. So, when we are dealing with equations or inequalities that have fractions involved in them, a lot of times you can actually just get rid of the fraction by multiplying by the least common denominator. So when you look at this, I'm only looking at the denominators, and I'm saying, what's the smallest number that 8 and 4 go into? Not what goes into them, what do they go into?
Oh.
8. So we're going to multiply everything by 8.
Oh, yeah. So then 8 and 4 cancel.
So right here, if I multiply this by 8, what happens to the 8s? They cancel, and we're left with 5y minus 2 equals, now I got to multiply the 2 by 8. 16. Plus, when you multiply this by 8, 4 goes into 8 twice, right? So we're left with 2y. Now I skipped a whole mess of steps right there. Are we okay?
Yes.
All right. And now it's just like the other equation we just already dealt with. Do you want to move the 2y or the 5y?
2 and 2.
2y? So what do we have? 3y minus 2 equals 16. Then what? Okay, so 3y equals 18? No. Divide by 3. Y equals 6. Do you have a question? It's okay. Okay. So that's linear equations. So now let's remind ourselves of linear inequalities.
I love these things.
So once again, the word linear is involved, so we have to have a power. We have to blah, 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 blah. Have to have an x to the first power involved. There. All they did was list the different inequality symbols. Yes. Here's the properties. You guys understand properties of algebra. I'm not super worried about. Can you remember what the addition property of inequality? No, we're not going to talk about it. We're okay. We know how it works. We're good, right? How can you tell if two inequalities are equivalent? Yeah. They have the same solution set. And when we talk about a set, remember we did the question 59 in the homework where let me find it right here. Or 57, I lie. This is a solution set because it's not just one answer or two answers. It's actually an infinite number of answers, but we know where they are. So this is a solution set. And that's what they mean by that. Don't worry about this because we just answered it. Example 4, let's do it. What are we going to do? Okay. So 3x minus 3 plus 2. Good. You want to move the 3x or the 5x? The 5? Let's do it. Why not? I heard it first. It's okay. Negative 2x minus 1. Actually, this is good practice for us. I'm glad we did it. It's going to remind us of something very valuable. That's right. Yep. Now what? Plus the 1? So negative 2x is less than 7. Now what are we going to do? Yep, we're divided by a negative. This is why I'm glad we did this. When you divide by a negative with an inequality, you got to flip the sign. Ta-da! I'm glad we did that.
Wait, why didn't you get... Oh, never mind.
Okay. Holy cow, we're almost done. I always forget that this one goes so fast. We have fractions, but that's okay. We're going to find the LCD. So what's the smallest number that 3, 2, and 4 go into? 12. Perfect. So we're going to multiply every single thing by 12. So what happens when we multiply this one right here by 12?
You get 4x.
4x. What about right here? Plus 6. Right here. 3x plus 4. Remind me when I'm done with this to start you on question 27. Okay. You want to move the 4x or the 3x?
3x.
3x?
I like my x on the left.
So what do you get? X plus 6 is greater than 4? Then what?
Minus 4.
Don't do that. So x is greater than negative 2. And they also asked us to graph it. So are we going to have a hard bracket or a soft bracket?
Soft.
And x is greater, so we face to the right. The nice thing about if you graph it is that really sets you up for any interval notation. How would you write this as an interval notation? You'd have your negative 2 with your soft bracket, right? And then where does it go up to? And what kind of bracket's always around an infinity? A soft bracket. So that's why I like the graphing them, because it directly makes it look like an interval notation with the soft and hard bracket stuff. Are we doing okay? All right. Last one here. This is called the double inequality because there's 2 inequality symbols, but you just do the same thing, but you just do it to all 3 parts instead of just both sides. Now it's all 3 parts. So when you look at this, you find where the x is at. Our x is in the middle. Right here. Here he is. We found him. Do we move the 2, the 5, or the 3 first?
3.
The 3. We got to undo the divide. So how are we going to undivide?
Multiply.
So you multiply this by 3, multiply this by 3, and you multiply that by 3. So it's 3 times negative 3. Nice. Here, these ones cancel. So we're left with 2x plus 5. And that's less than or equal to 15. Now what are we going to move?
5.
Subtract the 5 from all 3 parts. Am I going too fast? Are we doing okay? Okay. Negative 9 minus 5. Negative 14. And then that's less than 10. Last thing. Good. And oopsies. Whoopsies, there it is. They also asked us to graph this on a number line. So we have a -7 and we have a 5. So what kind of bracket goes on the -7? A soft one. It's all good. It's all good. That's what we're doing this. What goes on the 5? Hard. And X is in the middle, so we shade right here. So could you write that as an interval notation off of this? So, yep. They just kind of falls right there. It's good practice for us. And before I release you, I want to start with 27 because every year we always goof on 27. There's a couple little tricks with it. So, wherever you want to write it, it's up to you. But there's your homework listed right here.
No, we're gonna do
Yeah. Yeah. And I know it might throw you out of sequence a little. I'm sorry. Some people have a hard time with it.
What was the question?
Solve the equation.
Oh, okay. Give me a second before you start.
I am. I think I'm being very patient right now, actually. Have what?
lunch.
Oh, I know. It's because of last year. It's killing us.
16 words first, okay.
So everybody got it written down? Okay. So we're going to want to clear the fraction. So we need to find our LCD. And I'm not really worried about the 2 because the 2 goes into 8. So what's the smallest thing that 8 and 3? 24. I'm going to actually take a little bit more time and actually write this one out individually here because there's a couple things that'll throw us up, trick us up. So we're going to go 24 times this. And 24 times this one. And then 24 times this one. And there's a couple things every year that we people goof with. We're okay with the simplifying because 8 goes into 24 3 times. But what people forget to do is they forget to distribute the 3 also to this 5 on this first set of parentheses here. So you would multiply here, you'd have 3t plus 15 for the first set. And then we're going to simplify this. And there's a couple things that we goof right here. People forget to distribute that 12 to here, but they also forget about this minus, this negative sign right here. So this is going to turn into minus 12t plus 24. That is, we always goof that right here. Equals, what's this? What's a third of 24? 8. And then from there, it's usually okay. But a lot of times we forget to distribute, and then we also forget to distribute that negative sign through. So that's why I wanted to start us out on that one. Okay? Okay. And so that was a big, yeah. And sometimes when I would do it, I'd forget the minus sign too. So we'd be like, "What? This isn't working. What is this?" I'm like, "Oh yeah."
Oh, that Walmart yesterday was like, I grabbed my graphing calculator, and I just liked it because it was pink.
It's the color one.
Color one.
How much was it? Like 108. That's I mean, really, $106 for that awesome new calculator.
I thought it was 6 for the regular one.
I mean, these used to cost like 170 back in the day.
140.
They still do
Now,
that.
but why would, and
And then this one's 106, which is because I
Oh.
bought from the site.
yeah, it's blowing my mind.
We'll find out what they did differently.
Yeah,
eventually.
on the site.
Hmm?
Maybe they did
I know
take
they
away
sold them
stuff.
at Walmart for 106.
Toy stuff?
Maybe they took away some attributes about the shirt, but they did new one.
You know, I don't use, I probably grossly underuse this thing, but I don't know.
I actually use the graph. I refuse to use it.
Isn't that the truth?
To be honest, nope.
It's the mushroom class. Our class not big mushrooms.
What are they doing?
I think it's my food class.
What's he been taking them off to do?
Project mushrooms. That's what we did in earth science. He's not pig mushrooms. He's showing us different kinds of mushrooms around the school and where they grow.
He actually, in town, he's being very knowledgeable about.
Yeah, he's
Mr.
very,
Severson does everything.
he's a very enthusiastic mushroom.
Who is?
You see him as a mushroom picker. I see him as the guy who left halfway through our trip to go on a ukulele tour. Who?
Wait, where
Mr.
at?
Severson.
Where at?
During the NOSB trip, he was our host on the
Shepherd,
after the
yeah.
competition. He vanished and he's like, where did he go? Miss Leonard's like, oh, he's going on a ukulele tour on Seward.
So Mr.
He came back at like 2 in the morning. He was like, where were you?
That's funny.
Because it was our last night. It's like, I want to sleep right now. We don't have to do anything tomorrow. I'm going to stay up and watch TV because I didn't do that the last 5 years.
I don't want to join.
It's fun. You get to travel. You get to go to Seward. Seward has a lot of cool places.
Do you want us to
They have a rodeo show.
We can do next
Hmm?
year. How much time
Do you want us to put this in our
I'm
homework?
going to do
Yeah, this is starting at number 27.
and I'm doing robotics.
Yeah.
Nah, Keenan.
I think he should.
No, the thing with Keenan is he's good in a tough spot and he works, but he procrastinates so much that he has to work afterwards to make up for it.
Well, he also did it. He also did a lot of it. But you haven't done most of the stuff.
No, and I did most of his work from the beginning. The first part of the entire thing, he didn't start pulling any weight until he started reaching the deadline. It's like, oh, I should actually do some work. In the beginning, I wrote his part, I wrote Duncan's part, I wrote my part, and I'll just go with her part first.
So I guess it's the opposite.
No, because you don't put someone like me in position of power. Because I'm like, I work best in a site position like the vice president. That's what I did with Jessica. I was the people started doing stupid things. Like if Keenan and Duncan decided to start watching.
There was one school so much. Horrible.
They did.
They did?
They did. Well, not legit. It's just like
Okay, what happened?
it's something that made Miss Lionel turn really bright red and have to leave the room.
Oh, we got, there you go. Same thing. The first thing you multiply by 3.
So I smacked up. I'm just saying, Keenan pulls his weight when it hits the close. Like before then, he slacks off.
Oh, congratulations. We're for multiple choice questions. I just put 8.
I really like that.
Okay. What if I want to hear?
Those are one of those questions you don't have to do.
smallest one was negative
I like that. Wait, what?
So you pulled it apart, and that's totally fine. You need to write it as an equality.
Yeah, I'm sure you
Equality
so
statement.
new as well.
So here's where you dealt with
Yeah,
the
you do
negative
have the
3,
new one.
right? Yeah, it's over there in the one. So this is where you dealt with this one. So instead of negative 3, after we worked it out, we found it was negative 7. You've got to be able to be x. Which is why I didn't pull it apart. I just so I would. But that's all you do.
Are you doing
A
robotics
game.
next week or the week after?
We're gonna meet next week to figure out when
Okay.
we can meet.
It should be Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And
This is the favorite of the NOS week. Say just in the best.
Okay, and so doing that, then you'll help. Yeah.
A lot of the part, I think it's just Tuesdays and Thursdays that you plan on having those things. So
You gotta find the views. You gotta find all those links to all those sites. Cause I saw some two legs on the no.
Why?
because like those kind of trips are fun, and then like sports trips are right.
You gotta find all the
It's
links.
a lot of work.
Is that okay?
It's like all the sports kids are doing it. And we did coming back to play for the homework. It's like at least you guys have time to.
How are you?
We don't. We were up at 7 in the morning, and then we're competing. And then like if any opportunity arises, we still need to and then pass out.
For me, it's
I think I
Wait,
remember
number 6 is a trick question.
How is it a trick question? No.
Time later, because like there's no actual
like 4 classes to be enrolled.
but it doesn't require your brain.
I would just be at school.
You don't have to sit there and you don't do like 3 rounds in a row.
you don't have to stand up. So cool for a few hours.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
It's illegal.
Can you put it in the budget part?
Yeah, with that same.
No, he's not.
Because you got 90 seconds. You got
A lot of fun. And then we found a place in a different.
If anything, he didn't even show up until later. Thank you.
Every
period, you know that?
Games.
Had to borrow a pencil from JD.
You just feel like 50 miles going.
No, he didn't actually start buzzing for a while, and then he didn't do it in the beginning rounds at all. Like during the first round, we played Juno Douglas' A team. He sat there staring at the buzzer. He had his hand on it, and he never buzzed. No, if I think about percentages, Jessica probably had the most buzzes. And then I came in a pretty close second.
Does it say in there?
He tied with Duncan, and then Nicole was last. Nicole last one second.
27.
Wednesday, because I think
Anything Keenan says pertaining to NOSB is probably not.
Yeah, because the biology, go to biology.
Yeah, because sometimes people travel.
because they just scheduled it different this year, so we got
Are you upset about that? Yeah.
Oh, that works really good in our class.
No, but it's
Yeah, but it's like hard to tell them.
so that's not people this year. Some people want your baby to have.
Yeah, no, we actually have enough for me like at least a couple.
Miss Whyte, I broke your bathroom tile.
Actually, will you put it under my table here?
What?
I'm gonna have my aid. Actually, will you put it back here? People take
They're like
the.
not all the same.
How did you break it?
Sir Mathalon thing is
I was just picking it up.
No, it's. Remind me how my
Just needs to be.
aids. Oh, I forgot to stop the recording. I hate when I do that.